Yeah. Welcome to the Bishop Exchange. I'm John Bishop. In my house, we've got Bradley Hurley, who I assume's in his house, and Des is in a house.
My house, West Hampton.
Oh, you're in West Hampton.
Good morning from West Hampton Beach. It's 5:19 on the AM dial, and we are here for the Bishop Exchange Morning Radio, which, to be honest with you, is the job that I thought I would end up with when I
job you could have done. You should have done it.
It doesn't exist anymore.
I know, but you could make it exist. You could go back to Ireland and do radio in Ireland, because radio still rules in Ireland.
Honestly, I think it feels like that, but that's also struggling. That's also struggling. There's only a few shows that kind of matter, but I will agree with you that when I'm back in Ireland, I listen to the radio a lot more than I do when I'm here.
Yeah. But
needless to say, that's where I really did think that I was going to do a morning radio show, because it really
You're
suits
not joking, you thought that?
No, I wasn't joking. Honestly, I always thought that when I was sick of touring, that I would do morning radio. And you know what's crazy is that before I went to China, I got offered 2 radio jobs, which I had to turn them both down because I was going to China.
And what were the jobs?
So I filled in for a week on News Talk. I think I filled in for Sean Moncrief, and the News Talk exec pulled me in, offered me a job, which I couldn't do. And then I filled in for a week for Ryan Tuberty, when he still had the 2FM show. And they offered me a job. But I mean, for that one, I was really just about to leave. So, and then it wasn't until 2 years later that I came back. And by then, I was starting to do more, my mother was sick. You want to know the truth, not to bring the vibe down. But so I wasn't even looking for something like that then. Yeah. And then by the time I would have been looking again, I was just spending more time in the States. So that was that. Not to bore the listeners with my career trajectory, but
yeah. But the way your nocturnal habits are, you could do morning radio in Ireland, because you're getting up in the middle of the night in America anyway. It'd make no difference. Well,
yeah, to do it in Ireland, I would have to do like a 9 a.m. show virtually. But anyway, trust me, many times I thought about doing like a morning radio show format, but daily for like YouTube or for like a podcast. But it's not about the getting up. It's about the getting all the information every day for something to talk about.
Work. It's hard.
That's work, bro.
I mean, we just
I'm trying not to swear.
I just want to say for the record, when I'm not allowed to swear, I don't swear. But I am 100%. I am 100% of the opinion that it's an insane hangover from a different era where we have to pretend that we speak a different way when we're on public air. That's my.
Yeah, but you can't have people. You can't have people on children's telly going, "Come here, you fucking big teddy bear."
It's for children. Yes, 100%. But also why? Why? This is the whole thing. Like, listen, we don't have to get bogged down in it, but I don't understand why we give those words that much power still.
Yeah, but I think it'd be funny if remember the woman in Tom and Jerry. Thomas!
Get the fuck in here.
Get the fuck in here, you little ranky pussy. Come here.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So, okay, listen. I this is a separate discussion, but it's really the whole obsession with language, right? Like, so it's this whole thing of like, you can't say that as a kid. And then eventually, as a kid, you get to a state. I remember exactly where I was when I discovered that nobody's allowed to say curse words, but that you can just say them. I was at Casino Park Day Camp. I think I was like 8 years old. It was a summer day camp near my house in Queens. And this kid was like, "No, I'm not allowed to curse either. I just curse." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Holy shit, like you could just do it." I was in shock. And so now when I think back to that, it's like, so why did we go with this pretense that it was a big deal until this moment where I realized it's not a big deal?
I remember I was allowed to swear in the presence of me dad playing football. If I played,
because he didn't want to be a hypocrite.
yeah, you know what I mean. But because I actually played football with me dad in the same team as me dad. Sunday league football. I was about 15, I think, when I started playing. 14, 15. So it was men, and you're playing against men, and it was, where rules were slightly different. It was more physical and stuff like that. And so you're in the dressing room with men, and they're all fuck. So it was okay, and then it was sort of like, it meant I could swear with me dad, but not with me mum. You could never swear, you know what I mean? And then you get to an age in your life, I think probably where you're having babies, where you feel comfortable swearing in front of your mum. It's that age. And it's funny, like sometimes I sit with my lads now, and they're all men, and we'll be having conversations, and they'll swear, and I'll go, no, not in the house. Not in the house.
Really?
And I swear in my job, I'm going, lads, not in front of your mother. Not in front of, and I think, what the fuck what am I talking about? But it's just something, I don't know. I don't know whether it's an age thing, or it's like, I don't like you swearing. And I don't mind. It's when it's gratuitous, but it's also, there's just certain things I think, nah, not in front of your mum. It's mental. Melanie looks at me like I've just become a granddad. It's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm going, no. I'm not having that dickhead swearing in here.
Honestly, once I started coming back from Ireland, sorry, what did you say, John? I started talking.
I was going to saying to Melanie, not having that dickhead swearing in here. But Ireland, I will say, in Ireland, the use of swearing is so, ubiquitous.
Casual?
Everyone, so casual. And so much so that Mrs. Brown's Boys was able to use language on the BBC that no one else was able to use.
Is that right?
I think so, yeah. Because they got away with pretending it was feck. When I did that, this is true, this. When I was doing my first show on the BBC, I don't know if I've ever told you this. This is honest to God true. When I did my first John Bishop's Britain on the BBC, I was given a list of words. There was an actual BBC list that you could, and they were talking to me about whether I would go pre-watershed, which was before 9 o'clock or after 9 o'clock, and I said, well, it's, and they were saying, look, if you go pre-watershed, you might get more views. And I said, but it's, I'm a stand-up. It's like, there's some things that work better if I swear. So I went post-watershed, but they actually said, look, you can get away with one fuck after 9 o'clock, get away with one fuck within the first 10 minutes. But you can't use the C word. You can't say the word cunt.
Oh yeah, well I had that with Ireland.
And then the C word was the bomb. You cannot say the C word. But they also said, this is it, you cannot say Jesus Christ. You cannot.
Really?
They said, we do not. The biggest complaints, they said you can say it, but you'll get loads of complaints. If you do jokes and you use God, that's kind of difficult. But if you say jokes that use the word Jesus Christ in them, or towards Jesus Christ, they're seen as extremely blasphemous then. And then we'll get loads of complaints. We get more complaints about the C word than about Jesus Christ. So I remember sitting there, I said, yeah, but what if I've got a joke where the punchline is, and Jesus Christ is a bit of a cunt?
Well, I guess this isn't going on the BBC.
He said, that'll blow it. But it was just it. Now that doesn't happen now. No one does that. But that was a genuine. This is how you can drop the F-bomb within the first 10 minutes, but only once. And then I'm watching things like Mrs. Brown's Boys, which is on at 8 o'clock or whatever, and they're swearing all over it. So the landscape's definitely moved. Definitely.
Well, listen, the hypocrisy on Mrs. Brown's Boys is off the charts, because I guarantee you, considering how popular it is, that there's a very large percentage of people that think that's hilarious that will probably go out of their way to talk about how trans people are a problem, or that drag acts shouldn't be drag acts shouldn't be reading stories to children, but they think that Brendan O'Carroll dressing up as a woman is the funniest thing of all time. But anyway, we won't get into that hypocrisy. I had an official BAI, the British, what is it, the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland. I had an official complaint about a routine I did on the Late Late Show about communion, but it was a joke about going to mass. It was a material about mass when you're a kid, and I was making a joke about the body of Christ and that there's still a couple of weirdos that put the tongue out. It's just a Catholic joke, and which, by the way, in Ireland is mainstream. In America, I don't do my Catholic jokes because half the crowd won't know what I'm talking about. But in Ireland, everyone knows what you're talking about. Anyway, official BAI complaint. Now it wasn't upheld. That one was defeated. What was the
complaint about sticking your tongue out?
No, the complaint was about the sanctity of the host, that you can't make jokes about the Eucharist.
You can't. So the consumption of the host, no.
The actual whole thing of the Eucharist.
Right. So you can't
fun of the sacrament.
Can't make fun of. Wow.
But it wasn't upheld. But this guy made the complaint. This guy made the complaint.
It's funny though, because what people don't realize is when someone does make a complaint on television, like it can be one person, and one person.
Well, you can Google Des Bishop BAI. I think I've had two. You know what the other one was?
What?
The other one was a bit I did in 2016 about vaccines. So those are my two BAI complaints.
What's wrong with doing a bit about vaccines?
It was an anti-vaxxer made the complaint. Because I was complaining. At the time, that was the HPV vaccine. There was a real campaign against it. And I did a satirical sketch about that. And I saw those are my two BAI complaints.
They're very good.
Badge of honor. I both of them weren't upheld. So badge of honor. And of course, Tommy Tiernan's career kind of began, certainly his notoriety began with an all-out scandal about a joke he made on the Late Late about the crucifixion. Were you aware of that?
No.
This happened, I think, just before I even started doing stand-up, because I know when I started doing stand-up, Tommy had already been elevated to at that stage, I guess his thing was he's blowing up,
Yeah.
The big thing he had was on the Late Late, he did a joke about the crucifixion, and I can't remember exactly, but what the joke was. But they had protests outside RTE over Tommy's joke. Yeah.
Wow.
It's another thing you can Google, but that was like 96.
Yeah,
1996.
But Ireland's different. Everything's different, isn't it? Now.
What are you trying to say, Jeff?
No, what I mean is...
different since then.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. That was before a lot of scandals.
Yeah. It was hidden. And also then, I think as well, once you break down barriers, they never get erected again.
Really?
They're done.
Well, can I show you the United States of America?
I was going to say everywhere else except where you are. Talking of which, a new mayor, all over the news. Woke up this morning, all over the news. New York's got a new mayor.
Yeah, you're ahead. Well, I woke up. I mean, I knew he was gonna win. And Daniel Sloss got a fucking picture with him. I woke up to Daniel Sloss's Instagram with a picture with Zora Mamdani. How the fuck did he manage that? Scottish comedian.
Don't even.
Oh, by the way, before we move off the topic, can I just say, on BBC Radio Scotland ages ago when I was promoting something while I was in Edinburgh, I got in trouble for saying bloody.
Bloody?
This bloody thing.
No way.
I swear to God, I got in trouble for saying bloody. It was live, though, so it was after the fact. They were like, oh, we've had a complaint that you said bloody. Yeah, I was shocked.
What time of the day
in Ireland,
was
I'm trying
this?
not to say cunt.
Yeah. What time of the day was this?
It was morning. It was the time.
Jesus.
Listen, I'm just telling you, it happened. I was shocked. To be honest, that's when I noticed that the BBC is tough. The BBC.
Oh, it's sad. Listen, doing stuff with the BBC, working with the BBC is hard. I'm going to be doing a show with them next year, and it's be a game show, and it'd be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. But because of the format, it'll be easy to navigate, I think, most things. But because a lot of it's interaction with the audience, you can absolute guarantee someone will complain about something. You just guarantee 100%. It.
Plus, when you're on a public broadcaster, when you're on like the BBC or RTE, the general public, and I'm not saying this is wrong, but because there's a license fee, they feel a sense of ownership over the show.
There's nothing like that in America, is there? PBS.
Well, there's PBS, but it's very fringe,
Yeah.
And it's been defunded, by the way. So there's no actual public funding of PBS or NPR anymore. Trump got rid of that.
He got rid of that as well as
since he came
else.
in this time. Yeah. So NPR and PBS have been defunded. So now
right now, let's talk about America though, because right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Zoran Mamdani got elected.
So Mamdani's got elected. So you've got a very, what would appear to be a left-wing mayor in New York.
Left-wing mayor, 100%. But just for the record, he is a mayor that has the policies of a lot of European cities. Yeah. Like over here, he's coming across like some sort of radical leftist. But in actual fact, he's really pushing for policies that are already in existence in a lot of very healthy economies across Europe. Let's just point that out.
So funny yesterday. I was watching Sky News over there, and the reporter on Sky News was talking to a Democrat congressman, and he was talking about Mamdani and saying and the fact that this could be the way forward for the Democrats. And then this senator was saying, I should have got his name. He was saying, yeah, but he's too left. He's almost communist. And the Sky reporter's going, really? He said, well, yeah. He said, socialism, communism. That's what you've got in England. You've got a socialist government. And the reporter started laughing. He went,
I know, but that's what happens, man. This is what you're dealing with.
That's what you've got. You've got socialism. I mean, no, we haven't. If you've got nothing like socialism, you have. They don't. Keir Starmer doesn't want anyone to own their own private homes. Anyway, and he was like,
what are you talking about?
Where do you
but
get
this is what you're
from?
dealing with on the right-wing internet. So on the right-wing internet, they have, because England is like some sort of whipping boy. So the right wing are really, so according to the right-wing internet, all right, just because this is where our two worlds collide, the American right-wing internet, really pushed by Elon Musk, London has already been taken over by Islamic terrorists, right?
Yeah.
Keir Starmer is jailing anybody who says anything bad on the internet. So you're in jail for having an opinion. And I mean, I've seen a couple of examples of people being arrested for tweets, which a couple I did actually think were a bit egregious, and I wish that hadn't happened. But just the way that the stories are being told, it's as if, it's a left-wing police state in the UK, and that society has completely broken down.
But they're all saying like we've got Sharia law and everything.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
People... So anyway, that's what's, and by the way, same with, they use Ireland a lot too, because anytime I meet like Irish-American guy I grew up with, because like a lot of the Irish-American guys I grew up with, cops and firemen, they've all gone sort of the Trump route, right? And remind me to come back to this point. I'm still friends with them, and I get shit on the internet every time I say I stay friends with my Trump-supporting friends. I'll come back to that though. But anyway, anytime I meet these Irish-American guys, they're always like, what the fuck's going on in Ireland? Like these fucking immigrants are like taking over. And I don't even get that into, all I ever say is don't believe everything you see on the internet, right? Because they're in that algorithm, which basically keeps showing these like exaggerated stories of societal breakdown because of immigration and also government overreach. You know, they exaggerate the stories of government overreach to the point where, you know, everybody's wound up. And then they use England all the time. If you listen to any of these things, they use England all the time as an example of what will happen to our society because of socialism, quote unquote socialism.
And the thing is, we're all going mad because he's not socialist enough. He's too freaking conservative.
Yeah, Keir Starmer, right? So his actual criticism,
yeah.
his actual criticism is he's acting like a conservative.
He's too
this is
right
the whole
wing.
thing. People having a clue.
It's mad. So tell us, right? Because it is the lead story.
Well,
in the
actually,
news
because we
today.
never talk about England enough. Very quickly, John, what's your opinion of how Keir Starmer's doing so far?
My opinion, right? I'll tell you, because we had our Chancellor of the Exchequer yesterday. She was like, Rachel Reeves comes on. She's our Chancellor of the Exchequer. She did a speech yesterday, which was basically just saying, "Look, everything's shit, and it's going to get a bit shitter." And I've got a budget coming up, and just to lay the ground, it's going to be a bit shit because they made a pledge that they wouldn't raise taxes. And I think it's stupid when you do a manifesto pledge to say we can see the future and we're not going to raise taxes. You don't know what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years. And then Trump gets in, tariffs go up, things, all of that stuff. And it's been really interesting because in the last week, what's his first name? Lord King. His first name goes out my head. I think it's Vernon. But anyway, Lord King, who used to be the head of the Bank of England, I heard him doing an interview, and he was saying the problem is there's been no financial planning in the UK since the 1940s. Everybody is just doing political planning, not financial planning. Short term, what can you get away with? So we've ended up with this £3.6 trillion debt that is now, for every pound that they take in tax, 10% of it, or 10 pence, is being used to pay the interest on the debt. And the interest is going higher, so we're not able to actually reduce the volume of the debt. And he said, look, someone at some point needs to go, we need to stop this. And if you want good services, you need to pay tax for it. And we need to stop doing short-term stuff, etc., etc. So we've lost Bradley. Don't know what's happening.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you talk this much politics. Brad just tunes out.
Brad's just gone. What's this about? He's gone for a dose of Britney before he can get back in. So anyway, she might be preparing everyone for that. And also what people got to remember, we've had the Conservative government for 14 years who were shite. And we also had COVID, and we had the Liz Truss debacle. Brexit has been a huge, huge thing for our country. Hiya, Brad.
Brad's back. He's like, you still fucking talking about this?
So she's laying the ground to say things are going to go back. So I personally think Keir Starmer I think he's let us down on things like Gaza. I think he's let us down on things like Palestine Action, where he's arresting.
Yes.
He had them characterised as a terrorist organisation. So now you're getting vicars being arrested because they say, I support Palestine Action. That's ridiculous. Some of those things are ridiculous. Some of the things, arresting people over tweets, that's ridiculous. I think you need to have a word with the forum that's allowing them to say offensive things rather than having a word with them. And it's
bad optics anyway. Why give so much fodder to the people that are trying to say that, these things are happening?
Yeah, exactly. So I think, and for somebody who was the director of public prosecutions, who knows how the legal system works, you should know that this is just going to clog everything up. You're setting yourself into a situation where it's going to it's going to be difficult to maintain it. And at some point, you're going to have to back down because you can't arrest 500 people at a protest and it not have an effect on the courts, particularly when all of those people have to be processed purely for holding up a placard. That's just ridiculous. So there's issues there. I think they've failed to let people know the good things that they're doing because they're having to defend all the bad things that they're doing, and they are doing more good than bad. And I think at some point, somebody does have to present the truth to people and say, look, this is where we are economically as a country and this is what we have to do. And that might be what's coming up over the horizon. I don't know. So when you talk,
they could definitely do with a social media manager.
He's definitely
from what I can see on social media, it's not going well for them.
It's
at all.
not going well.
But that's all I get. I'm only getting snippets.
Exactly. So if Bradley wanted to really contribute to this country, he'd leave my job and he would present Keir Starmer in a much better light. He'd follow in my
Brad.
I'm just waiting for the tour to end, and then I'm gonna save the country.
You're gonna save the country.
Yeah.
What would you really, Brad? Right now, as a young British man, what do you think of our politics? It's just
wow. Jesus, he's throwing it on you, Brad.
Throwing it on you, Brad. Come on, Brad.
He's out. But just back on the Zoran Mamdani thing. So here's the thing. I support Zoran, but I'm not like naive. I support him in the sense that I'm at least curious to try another path, because actually most major American cities, like the really populated ones, they all have an affordability crisis. This has been going on. So does Dublin, by the way. So this has been going on for quite a while, the affordability issue, particularly for young people. So everyone's like, oh, he's going to ruin the city. But they basically want to just keep the status quo of a problem that's been going on for like quite a while. So let's just try a different tact and see what happens. At the end of the day, he's just the mayor of New York. He doesn't have absolute power. There's plenty of checks on what he can do. So the amount of harm or gain that he can do is actually somewhat limited. So let's at least give him the chance to be on the positive side of gain. You know, so, that's what I think.
So he's the mayor. The governor, who's the governor?
Kathy Hochul.
So Kathy Hochul can raise taxes and stuff. He can't. Is that right?
No, he can raise city tax. So America, the taxation here is a little more complicated. So in America, you pay your federal tax, you pay state tax, which is state tax is not the same number throughout the states. Every state has their own state tax. And then some places have city taxes, and then other municipalities, for example, like, you know, some places have a village tax. Sometimes you pay a tax to the town. But needless to say, there's various different entities that can tax you. So New York City, you pay city tax. So that's always
like an income tax, or is that just what are you paying the tax on goods
on
and
income.
services?
It's not like property tax, which is just a number based on the value of your house. It is income tax, but it's obviously the federal percentage is the largest percentage. The state is actually quite in New York anyway, a bigger percentage. Then the city tax is actually the smallest percentage, the New York City tax. But he wants to raise that city tax by 2%. For people who make over 1 million. That's all his tax increase is 2% for people that make over $1 million a year. That's what they're all saying, that they're going to leave Manhattan. They're going to leave the city for 2% on over 1 million. And all these working class Republicans are sitting there complaining, being like, he's going to destroy the city, when it's literally potentially, and I understand that it may not work, but it's literally potentially to make the city better for you. Or maybe even, imagine this Shangri-La, to make the city potentially just that little bit more affordable, that you might be able to come back, live it in the city again, because most working class people can't afford to live in New York City. So
Right.
but then the other controversial one is a rent freeze. But this is my understanding, and I'm open to correction. But he only has the ability to freeze rent on rent-controlled apartments, which don't even ask me about rent control. But let's just say that there is a certain percentage, not that big, there's a certain percentage of apartments in the city that have restrictions on them in terms of how much you can raise rent. And the ones that he has control over, he wants to do a rent freeze. So that's and so people, coincidentally enough, Bill Ackman is the one that goes after him the most. He's a billionaire from New York, and he's like, all the billionaires are going to leave. And the thing is that most of them don't pay the city tax because they stay out of the city enough days to avoid the city tax anyway. So they're all full of shit. They just don't like the fact that this young, ascendant, left-wing politician is getting power, because they've been running, because the Democrats and the Republicans are for the billionaire class. So they've had a good run of decades, which has just increased inequality. So they've had a good run. You've left a little bit of an affordability mess. Now we're just going to try to just even it out just a little, just a touch. But they're acting like, it's the end of society, which I don't think it will be.
It's funny though, isn't it? Don't you think it's funny? Don't you think it's funny where it's always those with the most that are
and it doesn't affect them at all, man. But that's the thing. Like, a lot of very wealthy people, and it's understandable because it's a lot of money, but they only see the money that's going out. They don't see the money that's going in, and also they're never going to need all that money. That's the crazy thing. Okay, I got some sympathy. I got some sympathy for the guy that makes $1.1 million a year. I got some sympathy for that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's like, hey, what the fuck? I just started making $1 million. I got some sympathy for the guy that's just over the threshold. But I don't have sympathy for the
just broke through.
The guy that's making $100 million, that's like, oh, what am I going to do? I got a couple of extra million going to the New York City government. It's like, you're going to be fine, bro. You're going to be absolutely fine.
Isn't it great, though, to have a mayor called Zoram?
The great Zoran.
Zoram. I think that's
But you know who his mother is, right?
No.
Here's the crazy thing. His mother is Mira Nair. Do you remember the movie Monsoon Wedding?
No.
Monsoon Wedding was a big hit in the 90s. Because I remember it coming out. I was already a comedian. Mira Nair, Indian filmmaker. Monsoon Wedding was a huge hit. I think it actually got nominated for some Oscars. She's a very successful filmmaker, Mira Nair. That's his mom.
And he was a rapper as well, wasn't he?
I think that was just social media stuff. I don't think he was actually a rapper. But anyway, he's a bit of a Nepo baby. But of course, without any sort of sense of irony, Cuomo, who he defeated, was calling him a Nepo baby when his dad was literally the previous governor of New York. And there's a major bridge that goes over the Hudson River called the Mario Cuomo Bridge. And he's calling Zohran Mamdani. So a comedian who, I can't remember who, so I'm sorry that I'm not giving them credit, but it's very much a joke of the time. So whoever you are, I'm crediting you without knowing who read it, because it's a friend of mine. I remember seeing it. Actually, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So the joke was, if you don't believe that when Cuomo calls Zohran Mamdani a Nepo baby, if you don't believe that Mario Cuomo is a Nepo baby, then I have a bridge to sell you. This is like, literally. Anyway. The Nepo babies went head to head, and Zohran Mamdani came out on top. So we shall see.
It's just that it was like big news, big news. Two things within big news this morning. Just because I'd turned it on. It was straight away. It was all about the election, and then there's been this awful plane crash, and they're saying that the other thing that we don't understand in the UK as well is that the government, the shutdown. You're on 36 days now of shutdown, which It's bizarre. It's basically all government employees are not getting paid until the budget's passed.
That's something
that's
that I'm not going to
mad.
be able to like. You know as much as me about that, so
I know,
I can't.
but it's just
I can't bring any knowledge to that.
But it's just a mad thing that can happen. You know
It
what
is.
I mean?
It's a unique American governmental situation that has to do
everyone's got
with the way that
bills and
government is
stuff.
structured. What?
Everyone's got bills and mortgages, and you go, well, if you don't
Yeah.
get paid, how's it pay? Are you gonna go somewhere? You're gonna leave it? It's mad.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it has to do with the way funding is structured, like legally in the United States. But I can't, everyone that's seeing that information, I can't bring anything extra to it.
All right, good.
But I do want to ask for some help. I'm developing a new bit, and I want to run it by you because it's not a bit yet. It's a premise. Can I run it by you?
Well, if it's based about social media and the political enhancements of,
No, I mean we've talked about that in such a serious way, and your energy levels have dropped so much that you're
much.
nearly out of the frame.
I know,
You're nearly out of the.
so much.
For those
So
that
much.
watch, John has slouched so much that he's nearly out of the frame of the shot.
Yeah, I know. I'll pull myself up. I was just thinking. Then I was just thinking. Go on. Tell us your bit. Tell us the bit. The premise of the bit.
So I teased this out a little bit on Burner Phone. So anyway, so basically, I'm about to put a special out. So I'm at that juncture where I have nothing. I just need new fucking ideas. So I was sitting down in a coffee shop with my writing pad, and I can't even remember why. But for some reason, I started looking up Amish people. You know who the Amish are, right?
Yeah.
And the Amish have the Amish, and then they have different sects. Some of them call themselves Mennonites. And I did sit next to a Mennonite once on a plane to Calgary, Alberta, and it was very interesting. I was talking to this Mennonite girl about her life. It was fascinating, right? So anyway, I
thought they didn't fly.
Well, some Mennonites do. It's very complicated in terms of what technology they can use. But she was sitting next to me dressed like a goddamn farmer from the 1800s. So I was like, is this a nun? I actually thought it was a nun. But then she was very keen to chat. And the funny story about that, I don't want to, this is a digression, but I'm sitting next to this girl on the plane. So before we take off, this is before planes have Wi-Fi. Before we take off, I quickly do a sneaky a Google of
upskirt.
Amish. Yeah, John. Jesus Christ, man. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It is funny though. It's unbelievable. So I have a sneaking suspicion that it's possibly like Amish or Mennonite. So I look up. Anyway, I see that she's a Mennonite, right? So then I know. Anyway, long story short, we start talking on the plane, and at some stage, she's talking to me about the history of Mennonites, and I take out my phone to like look at show her a picture or something, and on my phone is fucking the Wikipedia for Mennonites, and I'm like, oh jeez,
Oh my God.
It was the last thing I was looking at, and they're not allowed to use the internet, so I was like, this is the last thing I needed for her to see what a fucking weird cult that she's in. But anyway, so I'm looking up Amish history, and something I did not know was that the Amish originally, I won't bore you with the history of how they ended up in Pennsylvania and all that, but what I didn't realize was that they progressed the same as society technologically until like the phone and electricity and the motor car. So it was only then that they decided as a community that they weren't going to go with these developments because for numerous reasons. They thought that hard work, because they have this like very conservative sort of Protestant ethic that comes out of like the 1600s. So hard work is like, closeness to God. So they felt like these things were taking away the opportunity to get that hard work, which would make you closer to God. But they were also concerned that the telephone would be a challenge to community, and that they felt the community and the togetherness of the community was the most important thing. So it was really only in the early 1900s, late 1800s, that they decided to stop progressing, which I didn't know. I didn't realize that this was like a decision they made after the fact, right? So then I was thinking, wow, so you could just decide, like, at some stage that technology is no longer good for society, which I'm pretty sure you must know where I'm going now, because I think we can all agree that social media really hasn't been good for society. So I wrote down, what if we started like a new sect that just decided that a certain year, every technology after that year, we're going to live without that technology. And that's when I started writing the bit about all the things that, all the rules of my new sect, right? Which obviously will be jokes. The problem is that I'm less into the jokes part of it and more into the actual betterment of society that would come from basically stopping technological advancements at the year 2000. So because the word Mennonite, my joke is that I would call our sect Mennonites. But that's just a quick joke.
That's not a quick joke, Des. That's okay.
No. The Mennonites, the Mennonites is a quick pun.
The Mennonites.
So what do you think of my sect?
Well, so basically what you're saying is you pick a year and go, wouldn't it be funny if we'd stop then? Because if we stop
not
then,
funny.
this is...
The jokes are funny, but actually the
concept.
The concept is not about wouldn't it be funny. The concept is, wouldn't it be better?
Wouldn't it be better? Well, I see. I think there should definitely be I think there should be a halt on inventions. I think we should do. I think definitely. I think they should stop, and no one should be allowed to invent anything for at least 2 years while we catch up with everything that we've got now. Because we all own stuff that we can't use. We don't know how to use it. And so that's it. No one's allowed to invent anything, and then just see how we get on. And
yeah, because we have AI, which could, we've built AI, which could be like our demise. Social media has caused division all over the world. The world is a less stable place because of social media. Yeah. Well, sorry. A broader amount of the world is less stable than it was before social media. I'm not saying everywhere was stable.
Okay. Well, it's just that you know that.
So, but you'd be stuck in the 90s, which would be amazing, because that would mean that the only type of entertainment, because I'm sure that the Amish are doing like barn dancing, whereas if you're stuck in the 90s, it would only be raves, which I think society would be better if that was the only way to have a good time.
But it is funny just to stop, innit? The Amish.
Stop. Think about it. You guys talk. I'm going to get my note. I'm going to get my notepad to see what I wrote down as potential things for my sect, the Mennonites. Because basically,
because it needs a
sect.
lift. I've got to be honest with you. It does need. I wouldn't say that to a comedy club myself,
John. First of all, that's just blocking, bro. That's just blocking. It's obviously a good premise, bro.
The premise is brilliant. The premise is brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So we're teasing it out, John. We're not killing it. We're teasing it out.
No, I think it needs teasing out. I think it could be a very fun.
Let's fucking tease it out. That's what I said. By the way, for people that don't know, I keep trying to walk away and get my notepad, but I have Bluetooth headphones on, and I can hear John say, I literally said, let's tease it out. It's not a critique, John. It's a tease out. You need to get into the yes and, not that's shit. Yes,
no, shit. I agree that the concept's good. Yes, and it could be funny. It's just not made it there yet, but it's on its way.
I'm shouting from a distance for those that don't know. I know that. That's why I brought it up.
So if you got your
blocker, somebody needs to do an improv workshop.
I've never done an improv workshop.
That's obvious.
Right.
That's obvious.
That's obvious. Jokes in my head always just come fully formed.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah, just
sure.
Give birth to them on stage.
Let's get a video of your new material nights and see how fully formed they are.
Go on, let's hear your list.
I have to find it. I have to find it. I've been doing a lot of.
But also, I like that idea that you've got a special coming up, so you go into a coffee shop with a pen and a pad. I think that's brilliant.
That's what I've always done.
I know, but I just fucking.
I still write for the listener. I find, I put quick thoughts into my iPhone, my notes pad, but I find for actually trying to tease things out, the pen to paper makes a difference. Because whether or not, say, just as a quick example, because we're talking about whether or not the Amish idea ever, sees the light of day on a stage, like that idea just existed from like that session of sitting down, and you know what I mean? Like it's not like I would have thought of that.
Yeah, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a great idea to say. She said they all decided that'll do. We don't want any more development beyond this. Electricity's scary and cars are scary or whatever. And then you can get into loads of material. Say like,
by the way, just for the record, since I'm reading my notes, the Amish didn't want to use photography because it might help develop personal vanity. Are you telling me they were wrong? Are you telling me that the Amish were wrong? Because coincidentally enough, after I wrote this, I saw a funny TikTok where a woman said, as a kid, you're like, wow, the Amish are weird. And then as an adult, you go, I think they're onto something. And I think, honestly, I think that's fucking right, bro. So I said, originally, this is what I wrote. I'm just going to read my thought process. So I'm thinking of creating a sect with only use technology. Originally, I said up to 1994 because I wanted to include Nirvana and Biggie Smalls.
You can't do that though. You can't say I want to include certain things. You've got to pick the year.
John, you know that I can do anything in this hypothetical world. Do you realize that? I got a lot more freedom. Okay. John, I have a lot more freedom in my mind than you have. You have a very negative mindset when it comes to creativity.
Do you think so?
Because everything has been, you can't do that. It's not funny.
No, but you're saying I picked 1994 because I want to do.
I'm just fucking doing it as a goddamn fucking joke.
Okay.
I'm not doing it I'm not actually developing a new society, John.
Fair enough. It's just a bit. I've got to accept it's just a bit. This is not the Declaration
of Independence.
Yeah, I get it. Fair enough.
I'm joking. Okay. So I said I wanted to include Nirvana and Biggie. That's in itself, that's a lighthearted joke. Only phone calls, Remington Steele, and magazines. Right? So the Remington Steele I thought was a funny reference. Do you remember Remington Steele?
Yeah.
Who was in it? It's a biggie. It's a big actor.
I'm thinking of it was Pierce Brosnan.
It's Pierce Brosnan,
yeah.
Did you know that, Brad?
Nope.
He was in like a very big like 80s weekday night show on the major network, which syndicated all over the world, so much so that John had seen it, big show in the 80s.
No, I didn't know that.
And that was his name, Remington Steele. It was a ridiculous name. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So then this is a New York joke, but I said, we'll only drive Ford Tauruses because that was like the big car but I don't think the UK didn't have Tauruses. They had like Mondeos.
Yeah.
And then I said,
a Mondeo was my first company car.
Is that right? Oh yeah, and Mondeo's such a company car, bro. Yeah. That is and they were a great car.
I was king of the world. A sand-colored Mondeo.
So then this is a New York joke, but I say we're going to exist in New Jersey because you can't sell Phil gas. But ignore that. You wouldn't get that. Oh, yeah, and we live by the teachings of Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Phil before he became an asshole. So that's a joke. You know who Dr. Phil is, right?
Yeah, when did he become an asshole?
Are you not aware of what's been going on lately? He literally traveled around on an ice raid, and he's a big Trumper.
You joking, Dr. Phil?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh my God.
He's not on a telly anymore.
No.
John, you already live in this sect.
I keep on.
You're already living this life. It's like, John, did you hear about Louis Allen? Did you hear about Louis Allen? No, I didn't show up in my paper that I was reading this morning.
I was sat here thinking, where's the joke, Des? This is just normal. What are you coming up with? Where's the new idea? This is great. VHS. We were literally yesterday. Me and Melanie were trying to get. She had the stack system when we first moved in together with a double tape recorder, a CD player, and a record player. We were trying to get that working yesterday because I want to play
What,
more
a VHS?
records. Yeah, no, a stack system, a stereo stack system. So we were back in in the 90s yesterday.
I was thinking about that the other day because I've never understood the vinyl obsession. But then, I don't know why, just recently I was like thinking about albums, like listening to an album properly, like in the order that it was made.
Yeah.
We were in
thinking
Belfast. What? We were in Belfast, right? So I'm doing a bit in this show about Melanie giving me a mixtape, which is a tape with all songs on.
Which would be acceptable in the meta 90s.
Yeah,
acceptable behavior.
And it was 100% like a pivotal time in my life to give me this tape, and it's all within the show. It's all about the song and all the rest of it. Now we went to this hotel in Belfast. The name's just gone on my head, Brad. What was the hotel called?
Was it called the Regency?
Regency House. Regency House. Brilliant, honestly, fantastic hotel in Belfast. Regency House. And I've never stayed there before. It's an old Georgian house. So go into the room, and it's got a record player in the room.
Yeah, that's like the thing. The cool boutique hotels do that.
So the guy said to me, "There's a record player here, and there's records down the corridor if you want to get them." So I went down the corridor. I got some records. I got like the best of Blondie. I got
nice.
I got a X, the Ed Sheeran album. I got a collection of Elvis songs, and I took them up and I played them. And honestly, it was brilliant.
I think you savor them. I think you savor the song
There's
more.
something, I don't know, as you say, they're in the order that the artist wanted them on the album. You're listening to them. It doesn't just become background noise because it ends after half an hour or so, and you've got to turn it over. So next Monday, me and Melanie are going to go and see ABC, the band ABC, who play the album Lexicon of Love from start to finish. We're going to go and see them do that. And there's something about our generation, things were presented to you, and this is track 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas now, because you can just download it in any order, you kind of don't get the message of the song. That's why I was so interested in the Lily Allen thing, which I'm going to listen to on my trip to Cardiff today. Because there's obviously a narrative there in the way that
that's a full narrative. That's like, you got to listen to that. Yeah. Even the Gen Zs are listening to that one in order.
Yeah. So I think if you were to pick 1994, you get my vote. I'd be up for that.
Well, I was gonna change it to 2000, but that's what I wrote at the time.
94, yeah, but you say 2000, it still to me sounds new. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's before social media, though. That's the thing.
It's before social media. 1990s is a great year. I'm
94. There was other ones. That's established. All right, so here's a couple more. 90% less replay review in sports, right? No fucking VAR and all these other things, which seemed like a good idea, but I feel like they're fucking ruining everything. And by the way, I wrote that before the Irish rugby match, which was an absolute total injustice that happened to Tyburn. Gambling is illegal unless done illegally. Unless done illegally on the down low with criminals who refuse to use apps, right? So, because basically gambling, the ubiquitousness of gambling is a huge problem in our society, and you're seeing that now. Are you aware there's a big scandal with the fixing of NBA matches? Anyway, needless to say that the gambling apps are not good for society. Right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to write a joke about that. So then I go, weed is illegal, but more fun to do. Because that's the whole thing about weed. It's like, hey, we made weed legal, and now it's like having a fucking cup of coffee. It's not as fun. Anyone who uses a cell phone will be shunned. Because that's the big thing with the Amish. You get shunned. So you get shunned if you break the rules.
How do you mean? What does shunned mean?
Bad, like they won't talk to you. Like ignore,
they won't talk to you for a bit.
Yeah, boycotted, right? As well as anyone. Oh, yeah. Sorry. You probably won't like this joke, but I say anyone who uses a cell phone will be shunned, as well as anyone who uses the term punching down. But that's a very stand-up comedy. That's a stand-up comedy one, because the whole punching down thing, it was a good idea mentally to think, oh, punching down, but actually what you don't realize is that who's punching down and who's punching up is not a universally accepted thing. So actually probably less productive than it seemed before it started. Anyway, I'm afraid to read them out.
Have you ever done that though, where you've got a joke? I had a new joke this week because we were in Belfast and we drove past Prince Andrew Park in Belfast.
It still exists?
It's still there, and I couldn't believe it.
Is it named after him?
Of course it is. How many Prince Andrews do you know?
No, historically, I got to think there might have been another Prince Andrew. There's certainly enough King Georges.
No. So there's a few. Prince Andrew Park leading to Prince Andrew's Gardens, and there's a Prince Andrew's Way and all this stuff.
Wow!
Adults
not allowed in there.
We went, we went past it. Don't leave your kids. And we went past it, and I saw it, and I was like, wow. So then I googled it. There is a thing where people are trying to change the name and stuff. So I thought I've got to go on stage tonight in Belfast and say we went past Prince Andrew Park. But then I thought, where's the joke? So I went on and I said we went past Prince Andrew Park on the way in. Came up from Dublin, went past Prince Andrew Park. It's obviously in the by the Shankill. It's in the Loyalist area. And it was, oh, and I said, the person I feel sorry for the most, I said, it's the king. And then you get, whoa, I said, yeah, but the King Charles. I said, there's this thing last week where King Charles went to meet the Pope, and everyone thought it was so that they could pray together and show some unity between the two Christian faiths of the Protestants and the Catholics. And that's what people thought the King Charles had gone to see the Pope about. I said, but the truth of the matter is, if you're going to sack your brother for hanging out with a pedo, who else are you going to talk to try and give him a job? And I thought that was a great joke. And we said it, and it obviously landed very, very well in Belfast. So I said to Bradley, clip it up.
Because you're making fun of both sides on that one. It's like, hey, let's make fun of the Pope and the King in the same joke. Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner. So I said, let's clip it up, Brad. And we were about to post it, and then we were going, oh, don't know. Is it? So I said,
it's like saying Jesus Christ on the BBC.
Exactly. I said, so we send it to the arbitrator. So we sent it to Melanie. I said, send it to Melanie. And Melanie said, look, don't, because there's so much goodwill around this tour and around this show and what the tour's all about. She said, if you haven't been and you just see that, it's going to annoy enough people.
It's not worth it. If you're Jimmy Carr, it's worth it because he's developed a fan base that likes, but it's not worth it. So I wrote other ones that I've censored, but the last thing I said is pornographic magazines will not be illegal, but no new ones will be created. So they need to be passed around or hidden in secret areas. Which is basically what we did when we were kids. So anyway, it's basically a new way to frame some nostalgic material. So but
it's a good, clever way.
That's a premise, and we'll see. But thanks, you gave me no help. You just listened. No fucking tag, not one tag, just criticism, like not a fucking single tag.
Yeah, but you could say something along the lines of Prince Andrew.
No, that was funny.
We all still thought Prince Andrew was a good lad.
Oh yeah. Jeffrey Epstein is your financial advisor.
Yeah, and Prince Andrew's a bit of a
Donald Trump is just a fucking agent who went bankrupt. There's a lot. Well, I didn't even think of going down that road of like things that you didn't know. But anyway, that's my premise to round out the show.
Pee Wee Herman was still a kid's entertainer.
Yeah. Although, did you watch that documentary? It was very good.
No. You've told me to watch it. We'll watch it.
Yeah, no, that it was good. You feel from a bit. I mean, it's a little bit of there was definitely some of the powers at play there to sort of, shame him in a way that was really not healthy. But anyway, definitely worth a watch. So anyway, can I just say quickly, because I said hold on to that thought and I forgot about it, but I was just reminded there. So I posted the clip about Bernie Sanders being a radical in the States, and in Ireland he's a little bit to the right.
Yeah.
Which that clip did really well, like an absolute winner of a clip. But in the clip, I say that I still have MAGA friends because I don't think you should turn your back on your friends because you disagree politically. And I got, even though that clip did really well, a very large percentage of like left-wing people attacking me, saying that you shouldn't remain friends with your MAGA friends. And I fundamentally disagree with this whole concept of you need to turn your back on people that you don't agree with. So my take on that is, which I said in my comments, is that if you look up the way to deal with a family member that joins a cult, even though I'm literally making a joke about creating a cult, when you look at people who join cults, the thing you're not meant to do is to turn your back on them. You're meant to try as best as possible to maintain contact, to give, to try to, sort of like, yes, and subtly just let them know that they're in a cult, right? So that's my jokey kind of response to that. But also just this whole concept of having to turn your back on people who you disagree with. And I get it. I saw some very emotional reactions, and I under absolute validity on some of the things that people were saying about why they would not be friends with MAGA people. They don't believe that my people should exist. I 100% agree with that. But I also know that a lot of MAGA people, they have a very broad spectrum of reasons why they're MAGA, right? And as much as I'd like to lecture them on how horrible it is because of some of the horrible shit that goes on, what the fuck is that going to do? So I don't agree with this concept of you need to turn your back on people, because what is a society where everyone's just in their own little bubble? Like, it's just not going to. So I disagree with a lot of this concept of the didactism and the sort of very rigid criteria for what you should be as a human being. And I feel like that rigidity on both sides, that rigidity has not helped, even though I know it's your desire to indulge in that energy. It's very righteous. And I don't think that you're wrong, but I just think that actually it's been counterproductive, right? So if we're progressives, right, and we want progress, realize that has been counterproductive to progress, because, hey, let's call a spade a spade. We've gone backwards. So let's not be afraid to analyze our own side and say, what could we do better? And one of them is to not be so fucking annoying. And I don't think that's controversial.
Right.
That's my speech.
Fucking energy you've got in the mornings, unbelievable.
I'm a morning guy, bro. This is my time to shine. This is what I was meant to be. This is what I was meant to be.
You were meant to be radio host in the morning. It's dead. It's 6 o'clock. We're hitting the road. Come on, everybody. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Come on.
All right. I've got some calls coming in now.
We've made a parody song. We've made a parody song. Kestana. The morning radio always had like parody songs. So you would take like a hit and turn it into whatever,
He's here, he's not Kia. It's Des.
Oh, I did see a great football chant the other day. What the hell was it? Oh, is there somebody? Oh, somebody plays for Hearts, I guess. Not that I'm a big Hearts fan, but somebody plays with Hearts, and they turned Radio Gaga into his name, and it was a fucking great chant. I wish that Americans could get on board with the creativity of football fans, but anyway, I can't even remember his name. So it was like Alberta. You'd have to, like, anybody that plays for Hearts? They're having a great season apparently.
I think you've got ADHD.
Oh, that's a fact, bro.
It's your fucking brains coming in with all kinds of stuff. We've
but there's a
gone
direct
from fucking
connection.
Mennonites to Heart.
Yeah, but
to
bro,
Lady
that's
Gaga
a direct
songs.
connection because you said you have energy in the morning. I talked about morning radio shows. Then I talked about parody songs. And then it reminded me of a parody because essentially football chants are parody songs. So there's a direct connection. You just can't keep up with my fucking
can't.
speedy brain.
I can't. I can't. This has
all
been
right.
a good podcast, but it's I'm knackered.
I'm only getting going, bro. I'm only getting going. It's 6:30 a.m. The sun is rising here in New York. And we'll be back next week with another episode of the Bishop Exchange.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we will.
Which is a
we
two.
will. You know what? Actually, it's going to be good because when we do this next week, my tour would have been over.
Oh,
and we'll be
great.
doing it on the day that I'm getting ready to go to New Zealand.
Oh, you're going to New Zealand? Jesus, John. You're talking about me having energy in the morning, but you just have that overall energy, which I don't have. Because by 10 o'clock, I'm like ready to do nothing for the rest of the day. No, that's true. I got to do a morning tour. I think I need to do a morning
Breakfast-
stand-up tour. I always
breakfast
wanted to.
club.
Yeah, breakfast
Yeah, I
club.
want to do a breakfast club, man.
There's this breakfast club. Hey, come in, start your day off with a laugh.
Yeah, with
Now,
a laugh.
imagine it was 1994.
Imagine it's 1994. You're drinking instant coffee at my comedy club. You're happy with a cup of Maxwell House instant coffee.
Remember
right?
Biggie? You like Biggie, Nirvana? It's all here. It's here.
Anyway.
Okay. I'll be getting ready. I'm flying that night, Tuesday night. So next time that we do this, I'll be packed and ready to go.
Right, and then you'll be in New Zealand. That's going to be some logistics. Brad, are you going now?
Yes.
Brad is going, yeah. Brad's
you're
going to be.
going?
I'll be there.
Yeah.
What? Wow, so we're really because I'm like 15. I'll be 15 hours behind.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work out when.
It's
to
almost
record.
it's almost similar. It's just like you guys are going to be in
Yeah,
the
but it'd
future.
be a different
You guys
day.
are going to be in the future.
Yeah, it'd be great. We'll be able to tell you things that haven't happened yet for you. We'll have inventions you won't have.
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
In fact,
Yeah.
we may not even be there. There'll just be a hologram of us two.
This is a message from November 25th. Greetings from November 25th. Here's what you can expect.
We'll tell you what to put on the lotto.
You knew that Zoran got elected earlier than I did. That's a fact. Because you know what? I went to bed at 7 o'clock last night.
7 o'clock.
7 p.m. So I was asleep before his
Are you a
announcement.
child?
I had nothing going on, and I knew that I was getting up at the crack of dawn to be with a very non-collaborative podcast partner, and I had to get my beauty sleep in to be ready for
To
be
carry the
blocked.
show.
To
To
be
carry the
blocked for
show.
an hour.
Dez's back is killing from carrying this podcast.
I know.
No. I was not. I was joking about the blocking. I wasn't.
All right. Right.
No, the only thing I had to do was stop a conversation about the government shutdown. That's where I feel like we were going to lose them.
Yeah, that's where we were going to go.
No, so anyway, I excited for next week. Enjoy the last weekend of your tour. Enjoy your last weekend on the tour bus.
Oh, no, the tour bus is gone.
Oh, you're done with that already?
Yeah, we got rid of it before Ireland because we had 3 nights in Dublin, 2 nights in Belfast, so we didn't really need the bus.
Yes.
And now, believe it or not, what I'm doing today, when I say believe it or not, I'm actually excited about it. I'm driving to Cardiff. Bradley's got a longer drive. I'm driving myself to Cardiff, and that which sounds a little bit like stupid, but when you're touring, you're traveling everywhere, but you're not driving. You're always on a train or on a plane or someone's driving you. So to actually be in the car myself and stick Lily Allen on and listen to eviscerate her ex-husband, that's going to be my day.
I can't wait for your review.
Yeah, we look forward to the review. It's going to be very exciting.
All right,
So-
good stuff. Cheers, lads.
Enjoy.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye,
Des,
guys.
enjoy the next few hours until you dip and go back to bed.
Until I crash.
All right, good stuff, lads.
Bye.
Thanks.